you briefly introduce yourself and maybe your background, a little bit of what you told me just before about how you started in Korea, and also give us an overview of Kelpie Capital?
Sure. So I've been in Korea since right now 15, 16 years roughly. Mm-hmm. I came originally for vacation for 2 weeks, and I stayed eventually for 15 years, which is very long vacation.
Yeah, very long vacation.
I did my master in law and PhD in economics actually in Seoul National University. And then I just moved to work in Web3, private equity, back to Web3, and now founding Kelpie Capital, that is mainly around advising and helping foreign projects to enter the Korean and Japanese markets, right? Based on the experience that I have in different company that I run, and as well sometimes just helping Korean projects going out of Korea, which is kind of a big deal too, I think, right? Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
Have you had? Is it mainly Asia? I guess when you help local companies go out of the country, is it where is it? South Asia,
US.
US. Oh, really?
Mainly.
That's uncommon. Let me put it that way.
The thing is just this is a lot of Korean company feel okay to go to China a lot of time.
Below them.
Yeah, let's say that, right? And Hong Kong is actually a really easy market for them as well. They feel a little bit more more easiness to that. Entering Europe is always very messy and challenging because of regulation. It's on par with Korea. Actually, Korea is really just hard on regulation too, let's say, right? But Europe is a level above. It's even worse. That's why there's no centralized exchange there. But entering in US, it's both profitable and there is big impact, at least both on the token price, but not only on the token, as well on the adoption. If you go to US, you can translate all your marketing easily to England and a good part of Europe. If you go to Europe, then it's expected from you to start not in English if you don't have material in English, but start to localize directly, which doesn't have really much effect, I think.
Right now, Kelpie Capital is based in Korea, right? Yeah. You explained a little bit, but how did you first become connected or come into Web3 space in Korea? Sure.
So after the PhD, I moved to starting to work in 팩트블록. I founded with the team the Korea Blockchain Week, and I stayed there for roughly for 2 years, right? Just working mainly in consulting for Web3 projects on the marketing side, helping them on the PR side, traditional PR, putting them in touch with local as well crypto, I would say, marketing services, and helping them just overall as their go-to market for Korea, right? Yeah. Bundle with the Korea Blockchain Week, where they could have a speaking slot, right? And helping them on the side sometime with having introduction to VCs, just Ashed and things like that.
Yeah. So when working at 팩트블록, did you just do the GTM, or did you also help or participate in investment?
No, I was the head of BD. It was just basically it was number 3, I would say, in the company for this. So I was just doing pretty much everything. Meeting people. I mean, the largest work that I had in 팩트블록 mainly was just a lot of people flew from US to actually Korea, and they were just visiting the office, right? It's just mainly
so you're hosting,
meeting all the day. Curating speakers, curating sponsors for the Korea Blockchain Week, trying to find the best people that you can just provide value, for the conference as well.
So yeah, from this background, what drove you into crypto or Web3, and what potential do you still see in the space?
I mean, M&A is fine and it's funny, right? But it's it's not the same vibe. First, it's really good. Let's be honest. TradeFis and M&A and things like this are really interesting. Business, you learn a lot from it, particularly because you never sleep, right? So you have more time to work. Yeah. But yeah, you have a lot to do. So basically, when I worked in M&A, I was I was working on an acquisition for roughly $3 billion in Korea. And when you're just working on that, you notice everything is already structured. There's rules for everything. Every single step of the way is already just organized, right? Okay. You need to wear a suit every day, and 1 millimeter, tie on the side is just you're just going to have a bad time. But then when eventually you just like look at crypto, it's kind of like the same, except that there is no rules.
Yeah.
There is no suit.
Yeah.
Right, and everything is to be built.
Yeah.
Probably crypto will be exactly the same. Web3 will be exactly the same in like 20 years. It's just that it's not built yet, right? So there is an opportunity to actually just like bring some good part that exists in M&A, right? And bring it into Web3. Why? Because you need more structure, otherwise it will never be adopted.
So you think it's still an open blue ocean?
Oh, sure, it is. It is. I mean, like you see rules and things like this, etc. But like it's not that structured yet, right? As like, how many people, if you go on Telegram, how many people just like trading and just open like random pool on internet on Uniswap, right? There is no structure for like doing real big deals, I think, at the moment.
Okay. You obviously have studied masters in law and PhD in economics. So with this frame, when you look at Web3, what's most attractive? What potential do you see in this? Do you think this will, as the CEO of BlackRock said, pretty much every asset will be tokenized? Do you believe in what he said?
Nah, I think it's just marketing. Too much. Yeah, of course. Like when you have like so much Bitcoin in your pocket, then you want Bitcoin to pump, right? Come on. But
let's be honest, yeah.
But it's not because. But I think it's just like everybody wants black and white, right? When really it's going to be shade of gray.
Yes.
There is definitely some needs for RWA payment, infra, or stable coin, right? A lot of them is like really needed on the market. Yeah. Why? It's because like you pay a fraction of what you could pay, right? With like, what you are paying at the moment, I mean, you're paying a fraction using stable coin, right? For international settlements.
So efficiency.
And like it's way faster. And like if you take like for example gold, right? Like simple gold, everybody is just like gold versus Bitcoin, right? Like when really, if you're smart, you just own both. But I mean, when you're just getting gold, it's really complicated to know if the gold bar that you have in front of you is actually gold.
Yeah.
You just like what tells you it's gold? The color? It's not enough, right? But if you just like tokenize it, like you're just putting like you're using like you can just track the origin really easily, right? That's some technology and infrastructure that is needed and can develop the market value like exponentially. So I do think like there's too many people who think like Web3 in terms of crypto without thinking of Web3 in terms of like infra, right? And technology. If you just separate them a little bit and you just like take most of crypto for what it is, like a scam, and you take most of the Web3 technology as like a technology, then it's really different.
You said you worked in many different parts of the ecosystem, including FactBlog. I see you also wrote for Cointelegraph.
Yes, I did.
Okay. And OECD Digital Asset Advisory work, and Samsung Galaxy Web3 integration program. So looking back, obviously many experiences. Can you share maybe one or two meaningful experiences or insights from working with different part of the ecosystem?
Sure. I mean, like I already spoke about FactBlog and Korea Blockchain Week, but like I mean, for example, Cointelegraph Korea. So originally we founded like I founded with the guys from FactBlog. Yeah, I mean like it was just like taking the license from Cointelegraph Korea, right?
I wonder who was behind it.
It was not me totally behind it. Like the shareholder was actually John Sonic from Financial News.
Okay.
So anyways, when we ran Cointelegraph Korea, like it was a lot of like experience regarding actually the difference between the global Cointelegraph and the actually Korean side, simply because Koreans don't consume the information the same way than like other people do, right? So it was really like a lot of like learning on that for 6 months, I think, before just trying to find finally a little bit of like audience on it and just well, you know, like make it work, I would say, right?
Yeah.
And then OECD, for the OECD is like really interesting. It's like the OECD is like was lagging so bad on Bitcoin because this is kind of like, you know, the OECD is in Paris, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it means like most of the staff is French.
Yeah.
Or European, right? European tend to see crypto as a scam.
Yeah.
Right? Particularly institution.
Yeah.
So coming with that mindset means that the OECD and almost every single like organization in Europe, like the BCE and these kind of people, they treat Web3 as a clown world, and they never thought it would be a really great idea to study it. Yeah. They started from 2019, roughly, where they opened their own department and just like starting to work a lot on that. But the problem is like because they come from 10 years like delay on that, they're lagging behind. They were lagging behind, right? Not anymore. But for like 3 or 4 years, they really had like a lot of trouble just like trying to actually, I would say, get on top of like what policies can be implemented, how to advise the different members on the policies that needs to be implemented. And like in 2020, 21, roughly, right, 20 and 21. But when I was like there to support them, it was like funny because most of the policy that they were taking, they were like policy that could be implemented and would have been good 6 years before, you know?
So they're now working on it.
They were not on top of it, right? So they just expanded the department, expanded like the research. Now they're on top of it finally, but they were like really lagging behind. For Samsung Electronics, mainly like due diligence, you know? It's like when you're working in Web3 only, the issue is like you only see Web3 people.
Yes,
and everything is the same setup, you know. It's like, well, I'm going to open like a VC in Cayman Island. I'm going to open my my holding like in Santa Lucia or whatever, or Singapore for operation company. How to just like optimize for tax, etc. Right? But then you come and you just say you have like a project. Like, I want to have a deal with like Samsung Electronics. I want to go on like the Samsung wallet, right? Galaxy wallet. Just like, well, you can't. You're going to have to be way cleaner on your paperwork, you know? Like having something that says like, if Samsung accepts me on the Galaxy wallet, then there needs to be like a way for them to kind of like go after you if you're just like rugging their users as well, right? You have to commit as well, just not simply just saying like, I'm going to have all the advantage of the partnership, but if it fails, I'm just going to fall in my Cayman Island like so, company, right? So mostly about due diligence. I
think you could have actually gotten much more opportunities out there. What ultimately led you to found Kelpie Capital? Did you feel there was a need for sort of a crypto blockchain crypto advisory firm in Korea? How basically is Kelpie different from other labs or other agencies? Even Scry Labs, which you previously co-founded.
Yeah, I mean, like yes is the answer. I mean, the need on the market is obvious. It's because a lot of people, I would say, everyone is interested by Korea, in Korea, right? And the reason is because the volume is really high. It's not like 30% of the world volume on centralized exchanges from Korea. So like, if you have like 2 cells of neuron, right? You want to come to Korea. The problem is that it's just bad for everybody the way that it happens right now. You have a lot of projects that comes from say the US, Europe. They just want to come to Korea and they think like, just, you know what, I'm going to pump like 20K in KOL, right? And then I'm going to send my my listing application form that I wrote in like 17 minutes and I send that to a bit. And then it's going to be fine, right? And why is because they ask probably ChatGPT, but not the 5.5, but the 5.1, because they don't have the pro version, right? So they ask probably the like, how is Korea? And they're just being like, giving them information of 2021, right? When like the market was like new, it was easier to list. It was easier to do everything. The problem is now it's like super hard to list in Korea. The market is like really complicated for like foreign projects. And if you're just coming from the US and you're just thinking with your mindset that you're going to enter the market really easily, or like just do like China, you know? If it works in Hong Kong, it works in Korea. With that mindset, you're just going to have a really bad time. And it's the same for Japanese market. A lot of people just think like, oh, let's go, you know, and they just get punched in the face and just being like, oh, I don't understand why, you know?
You have to understand the culture too.
Exactly. So that's why I think like there is a need on that. Like Kelpie is mainly focused on like Korea and Japan, right? Because that's where like I bring value. To be fair, I do not think that I want to just go with Kelpie about any other market, simply because there's no reason to go to. Like you can expand like infinitely, right? But you're just going to do everything bad. So it's better just focus on the area that you're just like at least like became like kind of like expert in, or like and just try to develop those market. As for like Skylab is more about an incubator, like helping on just like just design, pitch deck. It's not really just like the same kind of client. Most of the clients that I have on like the Kelpie side are like people who are like on the top 200 in CoinMarketCap.
Okay.
And they are institution focused, right? And they actually just like want to penetrate Korea in like the right way, just like a corporation would do, right? Not a startup.
Proper GTM.
Yes, the only startup that I have under Korea is the opposite. They are Korean company that want to expand, right? I don't take like foreign startup to enter Korean market. Why? Because it's messy and it doesn't really like, it doesn't serve them. And it's the same, like everybody is just like a surgeon. If you're a surgeon as well, you still want your operation to always have like a highest rate success, right? You just don't want to fail and just be like, well,
You want to fight the war that you're confident in winning.
Confident, or at least that you think that the team that you have in front of you is going to be serious about, The problem Web3 is like when you're just working with like some startup, right, that want to enter in Korea, they're not serious. So they don't want to prepare. They want to just like go the way they want to go, right? And a lot of people are already the mindset. They will say like, well, if I'm just giving you money, you just do what I say, But it doesn't work like that. Like, I'd prefer just refusing the money in that case. I got a lot of them just being like, if I'm giving you 100K, then Korea should just like adapt to me. Like, no, I'm not going to convert the country with like your money, You adapt to the culture.
I'm just curious. What do you think is like the biggest difference between Korea and Japan? Like in the market-wise and the reception to the Web3 or crypto?
It's like total opposite, I would say. Total opposite, like simply. You have Korea that is like retail focused, retail centric. You have a lot of like people who actually just, I would say, they're really focused on like, well, not focused. I would say like a lot of people are just like really consuming the information really fast, right? So when you're like pushing into Korea, you have two aspects to care about. Like first is the marketing and your reception towards the opinion, right? And second is like centralized exchange, right? That's Korea. The exchange are super rough on due diligence.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they have to, right? They have like criteria, and those criteria needs to be filled. You're not going to just do like with the Chinese exchange. With the Korean exchange, you follow their rule, or you just go out, right? It should be like that. And the retail market, most of people are not prepared for that. Why? Because it moves super fast. So if, for example, I'm going to give you an example. If like you become viral in Korea, like the next day, you can be flooded with millions of people, right?
Yeah.
And most of team not prepared for that. Means like they don't even have moderator. They think like, oh, like probably like 1,000 people comes and suddenly you just get like 10,000 people coming. Then if you're not prepared, you lose that market. Down.
Perfectly.
Right? Japan is the opposite. It's slow. It's institutional, right? And it's driven mainly by your relationship as well with people. That you need to build over time. There is no central exchange. Well, there's Bitflyer, but like it takes like 3 years to get listed, so you're never going to get there, right? So when you convert like on the Japanese market, what you want is like retail and like institution and eventually VCs, right? But it takes a lot of time. It's a slow process. You can't just have the same person do both. And that's why like a lot of teams fail there. It's like they send someone as like, we're going to put our Asia Pacific team, right? APAC team, and they're going to do everything. They just generally they take someone who can speak like Chinese and like a bit of everything, right? And then they just target the same way. But if you have a discussion with like a Japanese institution, they're going to tell you like, okay, let me think about it. Then for them, thinking about it means 1 month, right? If you ask like Korean, they say, let me think about it. Next day you have an answer. So they're like confused, They think like, oh, that guy just answered me fast. This one just like slow. This one hates me, but no, it's not the case. It's a different process. So they need to adapt. They need like most of the time like someone just explaining them how things work.
So I know there are a few Web3 advisors advisory firm, let's say, out there in Korea as well. What do you think is Kelpie Capital's like biggest strength, core strength, or differentiator?
Well, I mean, like there's two that I was like, I think I touched about it like earlier. The first one is because, well, I'm still there for so long, you know. So, and I worked here, like not really just like bringing the
experience.
Exactly, not bringing the experience from outside of Korea and just like trying to fit it here, right? But the opposite actually. That would be the first thing, including like, well, long experience, I would say. And then the second as well, because I pick the project, you know, it's like what I was saying, it's like pick the project that I want to work with. It's like, it's not like a lot of Web3 advisors just like this. They send you a proposal, right? And if you pay them, they will do what you want to do, right? I just don't want that. It's like, I just have a call with the team, generally like 3-4 times. Sometimes it gets like 1 month or 2 months to just decide if really like I want to do it. And for one of the client that I had, it's not a real client, but like let's say like a client that I had that I helped last time to come into Korea, their Korean marketing strategy. We just decided it took like 7 months.
Wow.
Right? It's like Japanese style decision, right? But it's why it's because then after when you get engaged, then like
you understand.
Instead of just delivering stuff like, you know, and having like 1 weekly meeting, I generally just like have meeting almost daily with them, right? So you need to like and appreciate as well the person, the strategy, their technology, and just vouch for them at the end of the day, right? Because as well, if they fail, that's my name that is on it, right? And I don't want to just be like, you know, that's like just like throw stuff in the wall and like maybe something stick, you know?
I saw you also advise, not only advise, but also selectively invest in them, co-invest in them. So do you think personally in this market, do you believe investment should go hand in hand with the advisor or GTM market?
Sure. I mean, if you're confident with like what you're just going to bring as value, and you have an opportunity of like investment, then why not invest, right? Because like if people say like they don't want to invest, right? Then they want to provide the service, and they think the service has a lot of value, but they don't want to put their name or their money behind it, then they're probably scamming you, right?
From your experience, what is the most common sort of challenges or mistakes that foreign projects or companies face entering, especially Korean market?
Oh, I told you, it's like the worst is like the Apex strategy thing. It's like having like one team to do everything. It just really just doesn't work. Like everyone is just breaking their teeth on that. There are two strategies. The first is like they take like it's a marketing strategy or like a firm from Dubai, mostly generally from Dubai, right? Sometimes US, and they're like, well, you know what, like we can do Korea, we can do everything, right? That strategy firm then just like subcontract without telling you to like Hong Kong, which subcontract to Korean marketing agency. And then if you just put 50K here, you have 10K there, right? And the job is not really well done because as well as just like talking. That's the first one. Or the second one is like, they just, as I told you, so like they have an office in Hong Kong, and they just think they can do everything with the same person, which doesn't work. It's a bit like social media. Like I was reading that before, but like seeing that too, right? It's like if you're just wanting to have like a bunch of like different social media, you can't have one guy just doing TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. It doesn't work. It's never going to work, right? The problem is like you need like a special person that is like actually just knowing what he's doing on each platform, right? Maximum 2, but generally like 1 platform, and he needs to be focused on that to just have the good results, right? And it doesn't work. Like budget constraints and like lack of like being really serious, I think. But most of like the largest corp, right, just do that. They just actually just recruit 1 person in each market, or they get someone who's specialized on the market to just help them, you know?
What do you think about the future of APEC, like especially China, Japan and Korea and China in particular, say? And when it comes to Web3 space, do you think some people say, you know, they will lead eventually the Web3 space? What do you think about that opinion, having worked there?
I mean, I would not say lead at the moment because there's still like some issue, right? In order to lead, well, you need to have like more leader, right?
Okay.
There is not many leader at the moment. And there's a lot of followers, but there is not many leader.
When you say leader, like a Michael Saylor type of leaders,
Kind of
leading
but
the
I mean,
opinions.
Yes, exactly. This and as well like startup that actually build like an infrastructure. Right? The way that like I see it is like Korea is really still retail focused again, right? On the builder side, there is like systemic, let's say, issue to solve in order to become a leader, right? At the moment, if you are like making a startup in Korea in order to just being like pushing a new tech in Web3, it's really hard to go forward because you can't really just have access to institutional money.
Yeah.
Right? If you need $10 million, you're never going to raise $10 million in Korea.
Yeah.
You need to raise like half, like 75% of it. Infrastructure around startup and around like leadership in the US, particularly like in Silicon Valley, for example, which you don't have in Europe, in Korea, in Japan at the moment. It's a bridge between builders and institutional money, and as well the willingness of institutional money to put their money into Web3 projects. I think they just don't really want to anymore. Maybe because of like some other reason, right?
Oh, because of like bad memories.
Maybe.
Okay.
The percentage that they allocate on the fund side to those projects is really small compared to other countries. I think on the innovation type of things, you have a lot of innovation in Korea, like a lot of stuff, right? Very high tech, etc. The problem is like I think that Korea is a bit in the same situation right now in France. It looks like totally different, but actually kind of like the same thing. Is like you have startup develop really high tech, and then they get bought up.
Oh yes, that's true.
Acquired by US, acquired by Japan. And they just like flew everything around abroad, right? And simply because like I would say like the structure to push them forward into Korea and then helping them once they're grown to externalize that outside of Korea is really small.
What does a project actually need to secure or prepare for a successful listing? And if among the projects you have supported or advised, is there a case that stands out in your mind that was either especially strategically or difficult to execute?
Sure. Okay, so I mean, for the project themselves, it's really just like preparation. It's like not strategy, but preparation.
Okay.
It's like a lot of people just like come and they think like they're going to have like that strategy, like, okay, I'm touching retail, I'm touching marketing, I'm touching this, and then I'm going to exchange, right? And then you go to exchange and your legal is not clean and they just reject you.
Yeah.
And then you're rejected for 1 year.
Yeah,
right?
1 year, yes.
1 year, bye-bye. So you can't apply anymore. And then all you did before is useless. I think it's mainly like readiness. They are not ready. There is like a couple different factors that like centralized exchange actually just like look at. It's like your commitment to just develop a market in Korea, which is always like 70% fail there. He already told me that, you know, founder fly in, they're just like, oh, I want Korea, Korea, and then they just fly back, and then you never hear about them anymore, right? So it's not going to work for centralized exchange. Even if you eventually get listed, nobody cares and buying your token, right? That's the first problem. And the second is just the legal. Like legal is just really, it's this like, everyone on the market, they think like, oh, OKX, Binance, probably the highest bar in terms of like legal. It's not true. Okay. Like a bit is way worse, right? It's like they have a lot of commitment to protect their users, right, and protect the Korean market from like scams. And as such, they require project to be ready and have the due diligence really just deep into them, right? Both the team, the company, etc. Some project comes to me like I had like those guys like they are just the big decks, right? I'm not going to tell you which one, right? They are one of the top 5, right? Okay. And they just told me like they would like to extend in Korea, expand in Korea, and they just want as well eventually to list, right? And would like to ask me a strategy for marketing, retail, right? And help them to get the legal done with a lawyer so that it's clean when they apply later, right? And I'm telling them, sure, like what material do you have? right? Do you have like even like in English, right? What material do you have in English? They have nothing. And I'm like, they say like, is it really necessary? Because we're like top, 5.
Yeah.
I'm
And that was volume.
I'm sorry, but like you can be top 1. It's not going to change anything. You have like a checklist from central exchange here. It can work depending on your attractiveness on like Chinese exchange. It's never going to work in Korea. Like right now, like Coinbase and Upbit, they are like the top, Bitom is actually really, really tough as well on this. You need to actually just like, once you get on those exchanges, you have a stamp of like being like credible on the market that actually just can be used for the rest of the market. And like they just want to do the opposite most of the time,
So just as you said, very plain but readiness. Readiness. So you also, at the same time, have you felt whether there was any structural limitations in sort of the current listing environments and regulatory environment itself in Korea?
Nah, I think it's fine. I think it's what's needed to protect like Korean customers. Unfortunately, it's like this. Like crypto is like full of scammers. We need to just be aware of that, right? It's like we can't just pretend that it's not. Just like stock market is, right? But there is rules on stock market. There needs to be rules on exchange. The limitation in Korea at the moment is like there is not enough like regulation probably. That's true. Wow. Like not enough regulation into I would say protection of users. That are not in central exchange, right? And foreign exchange access, right?
Yes.
A lot of like, a lot of people, what they do probably, right? Before they were like doing arbitrage between international centralized exchange and now like Bitcoin, putting rules just to kick the foreign exchange kind of work on that. But the problem is like there's still like people who are just going to just arbitrage on DeFi now, right? Is it better? Is it not? Not sure.
Yeah.
Because when you start to do like doing the same thing but on DeFi platform, if you're getting wrecked, to be nice, right? There is no one who's going to come to save you, right? If you were getting a bit wrecked on Binance, could still just like track your cash and everything. On DeFi protocol, not really, right? I do think right now like the regulation is moving towards like it's on the good direction, at least, right? Just like moving in the good direction. I do think like they need to have like a broader scope of like protection for users, simply because if you want adoption, you can't expect like every single person in the country to behave like a degen, This is the real problem. Is like a lot of crypto people, they really think like adoption comes because like people are going to use tools that I'm using. Like nobody is going to use Uniswap. Let's be honest, right? It's like, for example, Uniswap, not hitting on them, but I mean like if you're just like the normal person outside, normal Joe, like go use Uniswap. It's too complicated. You need to just have like some regulatory framework that just like telling you, okay, you can just do this, right? This is probably like the easy path to do that. And if you're just going outside here, outside there, in order to protect you, maybe you should not do that. If you do that, just be aware that if you're getting wrecked, that's your fault. That's on you. We're just not here to protect you.
Disclaimer.
Right? I think a lot of people just don't really know that yet. They don't know when they are protected and when they are not protected. They just do a bit of whatever they want. And then when they get wrecked, they're just like asking protection. You know? It's not really the good way to do for normal people. I mean, like crypto people are, they are just like into risk, right? But the normal Joe is risk averse, right? You need to protect them before that they have issues, not after, right?
I totally feel that way. It was very unexpected last year when we did, Tokenpost. We do a yearly survey of, and actually that was the result of one of the books was the result of the survey. It's a nationwide crypto awareness survey. And what was quite interesting was that now 40-50, the age between 4050, 40-50 was now getting into crypto with a totally different mindset, meaning they were coming in with 은퇴가 뭐지? with pension in mind. So retirement in mind. So before it was like you said, degens. Just like boo. But then these guys had a different perception. So, and I totally feel now if you want to go to the masses, you need that in place, and more and more people are coming in, especially Korean market. I think over 10 million now has central exchange accounts, and so
yeah, I mean like a lot of people around like their 50s anyways that I know, they're just like buying Bitcoin because they think like, well, in 10 years my Bitcoin will go up, and then I just use that as like, as you said, retirement fund as well.
They totally think of it as now not like a 1 gig. It's now part of the pension, their retirement plan. So yeah, I think the regulations are very important to protect people, and I should think that projects should be aware of that too, coming to Korea. So yeah, I think you've probably seen like hundreds, if not thousands, projects rise and disappear in the last few years. And you also been in the Samsung Web3 program, and also studied economics in the traditional university. So you also experienced the very rigorous vetting processes firsthand. What do you think projects that survive long term tend to have in common?
I mean, there's just resilience.
Yeah.
Resilience and team. The personality of the person matter a lot. And the team matters a lot, and the resilience too. It's like crypto, it's still like a little bit like the Wild West at time, right? Of course, there's a lot of institution, but look at them. Like most of like projects that are founded by institution in the US, they just die. Like literally, there's a lot of people raising a lot of money, and then what do? Not sure, to be honest. Like some of them die, a lot of them dies. They are not here 4 years later. Right? They raise a lot of money, then just cash out, and they just go bye-bye, right? I think the people who are just actually surviving is like a mix of resilient founder. I mean, like they don't get the money, they still stand up. They just don't get adopted, they just tweak the product. They just don't get like, really they still develop their tech, and they push, and then eventually they will break through with something, right? I think that's the only thing. The team is important, like their background, but as well their willingness to just succeed, their willingness to find a way to apply the tech into the market makes the project totally different. A lot of like 99%, they just care about their token price, and they're taking care. They're just caring about their tech, but it's always surface, level. There's like, yes, of course, they want to develop the tech, they want it integrated, but do they want it because they want to have like really the product integrated and build the best product? Or do they want like a little bit of like, hey, I did it, This is the fame for most of them.
Fame, yes.
Like a lot of like top 200 projects, they're just like, they're looking for fame more than just looking for adoption. There is some projects that are like very small and like have like some, there are crypto that are just not doing so fine. They're keeping on building, and eventually they break through, You can't rely on yourself to distinguish anything. Like before, I think like there was like a small test that's been done, right? Before in the US, it was roughly 6 months or 7 months ago, I think, right? You're taking the best fund manager and you're taking an AI. The AI will just do 95%, the good choice, and the fund manager will just get wrecked almost all the time. Because the problem with like people is like even if you think that you're not doing it, you're still putting emotion into play. You're still just going to like that guy a bit more, right? Just be a bit more interested in this person, thinking, oh, that guy is a little bit more like, he's a bit like me, or just, so you're just going to always just not being totally neutral on the person, and just going to be like doing a lot of mistake in your apprehension of this, right? So you need to accept that you don't know, right? And that things takes time. So is this like most of people take the decision in the first 5 seconds, right, or 10 seconds in conversation, if they like the person or not, right? So in order to break this, personally, what I do is like I keep conversation running for months. For months. Sometimes I was telling you like 7 months. It's like it takes the time it takes until like I feel personally that they're just actually good people for support, right? I mean, not good people like good people, but I mean like, that they are worth being supported, and that they are building something that actually just like can be interesting, and that they are not going to be shipped out of the market once they are scared about like something
down
small
market or something.
Exactly. Particularly look at like right now, like when you have a red candle, my Telegram is empty, right? Nobody's answering. When you have a green candle, I have a 200 message in the morning. Right? It's like, what is that? You can't build a full industry like that based on like the color of the market. It doesn't work.
Your answer really rings a bell for us because 2 weeks ago, not 2 weeks ago, in the beginning of April, we started a project called Tokenpost, Korea. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I heard.
Okay, so we've pretty much messaged about 630 projects that's listed in Korean exchanges. Projects that's listed in Korean, one on-off ramp, those top 5.
Okay.
Out of 650 or 640, we only got replies, 200 replies. About over 100 of them don't even have contact numbers, nothing. Like
great.
No numbers, and they're on the exchange. And about 50 of them have actually agreed to, we sent the questionnaire, they replied. And and guess what? The top 50, the 50s are the top 50.
Yeah, not surprised.
No, I'm not surprised. So, this is like the worst market right now. And so, it was such a eye opener. Like when you look into data, so it was quite interesting. We don't know. We'll have to do something. Maybe seek your advice on what to do about the rest of 600 people.
I mean, it's always the same. Like when the bear market hit, like people just like a lot of people just get into depression. It's actually just like the truth, fact. They're just getting into depression. But it's not because they are not making money. They have money.
Yeah.
It's because they are just addicted to dopamine. It's like it's dopamine addiction. Literally. They seek like every single day. They're like the type of people who trade on the 5 second. They'll just open the chart, they put 5 seconds and like up, down, up, down, up, down. It's like, stop that, Just buy and go to sleep. You'll feel better.
Wake up 1 year later.
Exactly. You'll feel better,
When it comes to Korea, how far do you think that the crypto industry or the Web3 industry has come in terms of institutionalization or mainstream adoption?
I mean, Korea is good on like, as well as I was saying, I think Korea is really good at like finding tech that can be applied to the market. Not great on infrastructure, underlying infrastructure. A lot of like the underlying infrastructure is coming from
US.
outside, US mainly, right? On the application side, very good. Right? Very, very good on the application side. I do think like if you want to have a little bit more exposure outside of Korea, then you can't do on the application because the problem is like most of the application are actually tailored for Korean, right?
Only for Korea.
That's like my point. So,
본인 인증.
Exactly, right? So when you're just coming Korea, right, and you're using application for Korean, it's amazing. It's like a whole new experience. Like, why it doesn't exist in my country, right? It's a bit like a guy just jumping in China and using WeChat for the first time. It's like you have everything. Wow,
banking, everything.
Exactly, right? But the infrastructure tool, the problem is like when you're just scratching a bit, then everything is just going to, like there's a lot of like money that goes like outside for the infrastructure, right? I do think like the issue is still the same as like infrastructure is not sexy, right? It needs to have like a lot of work to be done. And it needs as well money, capital investment, right?
Investment.
Exactly. And again, we're just falling in the same thing as like the lack of like institutional. It's not like there is a lack of institutional like money. It's like there is no bridge. There's no bridge between the institutional capital and the people just doing the infrastructure. You can have like government grant, for example, right? But like you're not going to leave out of like government grants. It doesn't work like that, right? So if you really want to just like do like a lot of like things around and just building a very strong like infra, for Korean to use and for like exporting the infra and like outside of Korea, then yeah, you need like to have at least like more people to support around that, you know, to just be built, right? Because it needs more than like a couple developers, I mean, you know?
Yeah, more than few developers. So when you talk about infrastructure, can you maybe give us a few examples or like specific field or
Sure, just take
cases?
like payment, for example, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's using Circle.
Yeah.
You're using USDC and you're using Circle Tech.
Okay.
Exactly. It's not because it's like the best. Well, yeah, it is because it's the best, but as well because they started early.
Yeah.
They got huge funding. How are you going to compete with US just putting 2 billion, 3 billion behind that?
Yeah.
Right? But like, I mean, it's not only because of that. It's because they're just building something that at the beginning was not sexy at all. It's like nobody wants stablecoin. People are just like, what is that?
What is that? Yeah.
Exactly. It's like payment infrastructure around. Yeah, I'm just going to use Visa and MasterCard. Then
faster.
people just start to do the math. They start to see the advantage. Then stablecoin become like super like hyped, like since 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have Circle. They already have all the infrastructure built. So what happens? Like everybody just go to them, right? So the problem is like you have like a business cycle, and you have just like I would say you have like a time that is like bringing things finally to hype.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But in Korea, mostly the build-up start when the hype is kicking.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It needs to be built like 3 years before,
Yeah.
when there is no hype about that.
And someone needs to start from underground.
And I'm pretty sure a lot of people start underground. But the problem is like, again, support, right? If you're building something that can have potential, but doesn't have like potential right now, the problem is like you still need someone to just come and put some support on that. And there's not enough people who are just ready, well, enough people, institution, I'll say, or maybe they just don't know because there's no bridge for them to discover those people, right? So there's not many way for those infrastructure builder to actually build before the hype, you know?
Yeah. And this is going back to our earlier question that I said I will ask in the end. How do you think, what areas do you think is very important for Korea to improve for Korea to become a globally competitive market?
Right now, the best hub, I would say, like for crypto, Web3, even startup is just going to be Singapore.
Yeah.
Probably Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Like Dubai. I mean, it represents as well like mostly like what is lacking in Korea, I think. The regulation to protect Korean is amazing.
Yeah.
The framework for a company that wants to launch in Korea is okay.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a foreign project coming into Korea, then there's nothing. It's like you literally have nothing. It's just like good luck, right?
Oh.
So there is like those issue, I think. Is like you have a huge trouble right now with like Korean company who wants to go abroad.
Yeah.
Right? That's the first problem. And second is like you have a huge problem with like foreign company wanting to enter Korea.
Yeah.
Right? So foreign company wants to enter Korea, they are facing all kind of like nonsense.
Yeah.
But it's not only like from Korean governments, from themselves too. They have no idea what they're doing. The Korean government have no idea how to deal with them.
Yeah.
To be honest, right? They're generally just being like, invest in Korea, right? So,
Yeah.
okay, I'm investing. Then what?
What?
Yeah. Well, they don't know too. You know, nobody knows.
Nobody.
So this is what happened, right?
Yeah.
I don't know where, how. There's limitation, right, on pretty much everything. I'm pretty sure there's limitation on visa and as well their staff, right? If you want to recruit people, like you know, like how many people, like if you want to recruit people, for example, it's just a simple stuff, right? You want to recruit people in Korea. Most people are going to just put their resume in Korean platforms, right? Well, if you're a foreign company, you're going to put it on LinkedIn. You don't have like that much of a pool of candidates eventually. And eventually only foreigners are going to apply to your startup. But Korean government asks you to have at least a minimum of like 70% Korean, which you can't because you can't even just like look for people into Korean platform. You know?
You don't know where to even set up a company.
It's not even like about like speaking, it's about like, you know, having the regulatory aspect in order to just even post there because you need your business registration that will probably take forever to just get anyways, right? So it's not easy to enter. And I think it's really as well complicated for like Korean to get out of the market. Simply, well, a mix of reason. I think like the first is because
Language?
Language.
Yeah.
Second is going to be because the regulatory framework, when you want to go, they go in Europe or they go in US, right? They go in US, generally the transition is fine, but US requires way more money, right? Way more cash if you want to go there. And Europe is going to just like stop you at like everywhere. So it's really complicated. Even like a startup that is not Web3, if you want to have like the CE tag, you know, for the European market on your product, it's $2 million.
What?
Okay. You need to pay $2 million roughly in license, you know?
Wow.
For this. Wow. So it's not that easy to just enter. So I think Korean company, the problem is like the easiest market to go to is going to be Japan.
Yeah.
It's closest as well, right? And like language-wise, it will be finest.
Yeah.
But it's really hard and it's far as well, right? I think there needs to be like more support as well on that, on like helping those Web3 company and like others to just try to export as well their tech, because at the moment it's really complicated. I'd say it's a newly developed country, right? It develops super fast. Most of the other like country you actually talked about, Singapore, has been like so long that it's been like mixed match of like different nationality.
Yes.
Hong Kong as well, right?
Oh.
Dubai is like Dubai became a hub, but
You started with that in mind.
exactly, and they put like a lot of like money and everything is new because they build a city from nothing. So they bring a lot of new people from it, you know.
Yeah.
But Korea, no. So the problem is like it's not about like just like changing everything there is, right? It's just find a way for integration, so that like when foreign like people come in mind to just like reach the Korean market, there needs to be like clearer and like better framework for them to do that, and that's things more clear as well, but still following the regulation, of course. And like for project going out of Korea, need to accept, you know, it's like here everything is easy. Let's be honest, like everything is easy. You're just taking
once you
like,
get into it,
you're just opening an app and then you have everything inside. Everything you want, you can have it, you know? I mean, just go live in Germany or in France and just try to order something on Amazon and let's see if you find your package tomorrow, you know?
Yeah.
Like
just trying to get into Wi-Fi in the train station and things like that.
That too, you know? Or worse, like a lot of people complain about the toilet, you know?
Oh, okay. Like open toilet.
But I mean, like when you go to like to company, it's the same thing. You know, you need to adapt as well to some part, and some part of like the country are really just not good. Like a lot of like, I would say a lot of like Korean startup, they base their exportation, right, or like the exportation of their technology, not based on like what is like is the most optimized or best ROI. Based on like their feeling for the country they want to reach. This is like, I really like US. Let's go there, you know? Instead of being like, maybe your market, your targeted market, the one that will bring you the best ROI now is Vietnam. Then once you're in Vietnam, you go to like other neighboring country, like Laos or something. Once you grew that and you have like a bunch of cash, maybe you can attack US with better, like, you know, with better weapon, basically, right? It's not like going straight to the highest market and hope that the ROI fall from the sky. Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Can you share anything? Is there anything you would like to share with Tokenpost readers? We have a lot of blockchain industry leaders as well looking at our interview, or obviously our website. Is there anything you want to say about Kelpie and also what you guys can do and what we can expect from you and who should contact you?
Well, I mean, like, as I was saying, like people were just like generally like most of the base that I do is like foreign corporation coming to Korea. It's helping them, right? Not like saying like I'm going to list you or something. It doesn't happen. There is like framework for that. You don't do that, you know. It's just helping them on like at least understanding how they can, you know, just have a chance for that. How they can as well just like finding customers and just not growing their business based on their token, but based on like the revenue they can make, right? And then redistributing this revenue in growth into Korean market, not just like throwing back everything in the US, for example, right? That would be just like the first thing. The second is like I like as well to work with Korean startup, right? If someone wants to, like actually I have like a couple of them in my portfolio at the moment. And why is because, as what I was saying, like the innovation in Korea is very good. is really great. They have like a lot of people who are just like single, like 3 people working in like an office, and they're building like some ninja stuff, you know? Like nobody have any idea what it is, right? The problem is like they need support, I think, and they need to be discovered, right? So people just like building like ninja stuff like that, right? Is really interested all the time because like you expand as well your realm of like learning from that, you know? You learn things that you never knew even existed, right? What are you doing? Okay, that's interesting. So just helping them to just like grow and then just like export is actually as well good for the economy in Korea, right? Particularly. And it's not like K something. Well, it's K something, but it's not K-pop, right?
For now.
Exactly, for now. So it's like those kind of things. For like the industry, I feel like a lot of people, you know, still, maybe not in the blockchain industry, I'm not really sure, but like I think a lot of people in Korea, they have that mindset and thinking like, maybe we're just like not like, you know, the greatest for this, or we're not the greatest for this, you know, or something, but it's not really true. I think right now, like, Korea is probably top 3 market in the world. Like
top 3
probably top 3. I do think so. For crypto and Web3, it's very underrated for like the blockchain founders. They think like, that's interesting, but like they don't understand that it's literally in the top 3. I do think like once you have like the regulation is really strict, but it's actually good, like better than anywhere in the world. So like for Korean readers or something, it's like, oh, you know, I'm going to get scams. Like you are like literally in the safest place for investing in crypto. You know, it's like go to anywhere else, you're going to have a bad time. You know. It's like if you develop and keep on like pushing the regulation a little bit like in the direction that it goes at the moment, right? I do think like it can become number 2 just after the US. You know, US is a huge market. You can't compete with like 400 or 500 million, right? China is huge, but it's banned, right? But I do think like Korea is like it has a shot to be number 2. Why? Because there is a lot of interest in percentage of the population. Right? And new technology are not flat out rejected by the young, right? It's rejected in US. In the US, a lot of people flat out reject everything, you know? And I think it's the same. You can see that for AI, for example. A lot of like Korean now just adopting AI a lot. Exactly, right? But in US, like a huge part of the population, maybe 90%, flat out hate AI, you know? It's like,
for whatever reason, religious reason, whatever reason.
They always have reason, right? So in a percentage of the population, Korea is actually very good at like adopting new technology and like adopting new market. I do think it would be fine like to keep on this way.